Hey, good morning, everybody. I got this song. You know, it's called 18 Wheels. It's about my dad. He's been a trucker his entire life. I mean, he's 68, going on, I believe, 69, and he's still working part time. Been doing it since he was like 15. So it's a long time in a truck. And if there's anything that I can do positive with music and help, I would love to be a part of something like that. I started reaching out and looking up different charities and organizations, and I found one that really stuck out to me. It's called Truckers Final Mile. We're gonna sit down with Robert today. He's actually from Albuquerque, New Mexico. They drove to Kansas City to sit down with us. They think that we've got something with the song. Robert's gonna explain a lot more in detail with what they do. My dad was a trucker, he still is, he shouldn't be, and that's frustrating to me. I'm 45 years old, and my dad has been in a truck, an 18-wheeler, since he was 15, and getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and getting his load strapped down, and can you imagine doing that at 68, 69 years old, just even if it is 2 days a week, I mean, this charity is not going to change that, okay? But when you hear about what this charity does do, I think you will understand the importance of what they actually, they help take care of guys like my dad, that, if he would have ever fallen out of that truck or been in a critical injury on a job site, there's no way my mom could have got him home if he's in San Diego or Oregon or out in New York. There's just no way. If he would have passed away on a job site, on the job, and what would we have done? Families can't afford that. People don't realize how these truckers really do have to work until they can't work no more. And if we got to put that awareness out if we can. Hey, Justin J here, sitting here talking with Robert Palm from truckersfinalmile.org, and I'm going to let him kind of introduce himself and speak about what they do for truckers. So everybody meet Robert Palm.
Truckers Final Mile is a 501c3 charity. May 1st of this year will begin 9 years of providing assistance to the families of the industry.
Nice.
And what we do is, should a truck driver pass away from home, we assist with the cost of getting that driver home to their family.
First, I think it's important families do know this option exists. People don't realize, I think, that, coast-to-coast drivers, if you live on the East Coast and your loved one passes away in New York, I mean, that's the $3,500 cost you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it passes away. A company's not required to bring any driver home for any reason. Sometimes they do, and there's great companies that take care of their families real good. But there's some companies that do not. We fill that gap. If you pass away in your hometown, the wife goes down, talks to the funeral director, they pick you up at the medical examiner, and everything's all set. But in the trucking industry, we travel 600-700 miles a day. We could be anywhere. And should something occur, loss of life occur, then there's more costs involved. The average cost is $2,800-$3,500 depending on the circumstances.
Right.
And in the last 8 years, we've helped bring home, 427 drivers.
Yeah.
We've brought home 35 thus far this year.
That's awesome.
And we do it all by charity.
I'm thankful that my family never had to have that option. Well, we would have known that option. First, I think it's important families do know this option exists. People don't realize, I think, that, coast-to-coast drivers, if you live on the East Coast and your loved one passes away in New York, I mean, that's the $3,500 cost you're talking about.
Or more.
Or more.
And when a loss of life occurs in your hometown, you've got the one funeral home you deal with. Yeah. And they may know your family. They may know that your bloodline is established in that community. They might be able to give you a break or give you a deal on the cost or whatever. But if a driver, say you live here and a driver passes away in Salt Lake City, you know, that funeral home has to be involved out there. They don't know you from Adam.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of times a family might run into a situation where they say, well, you know, we can help get him to you, but we need to be paid up front first.
Right.
You know, maybe there's no insurance at all. Maybe, you know, but whatever the situation, we could get everything verified generally within 4 hours, and then we can, you know, work to expedite to get the driver home.
Nice.
You know, and we keep the family up to date on it.
And like I said, you know, this is a service that people don't really. You just don't think about something like this until something like that happens.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of some of the families that we were talking about out there next to the truck, some of the families that and drivers that were on the truck, some of these, or most of these, I think were veterans.
The
some
ones
of
on
them.
the tractor, there's 20 on the tractor right now. Those are all veterans.
Nice.
What we do is we ask a $250 donation to have a driver put on the bricks in the wrap.
Yeah.
And a Facebook group, if I can mention them, American Truck Syndicate, they paid for those 20 bricks to be put on there for the veterans.
Nice.
Yeah, so we were able to get all of that done. And all the money that we generate off of that, off the trailer, all of that goes into the general fund to help get other drivers home.
That's nice.
From coast to coast, 18 wheels at a time.